watch anything good lately, Jesse?
I watched Superman Returns the other day.
Dude, I watched this movie called Bad Timing that was on Criterion 24/7.
I've heard of that. Who's in it?
Motherfucking Art Garfunkel and Harvey Keitel, dude.
That's probably why
Yeah,
that's probably why I heard about it.
Dude.
Good?
Fucking good movie. You see his nutsack at some point.
Hell yeah. What else? You reviewed something on Letterboxd that I saw the other day that was on my list.
Dude, it could be a numerous amount of things. I've watched Tie Me Up, Tie Me Down, Wolf's Hole, 36 Fillet. Don't recommend that one. I saw part of Naked, Between the Lines, Bad Timing, Chow Manhattan, and Dillinger's Dead. And I've seen some other ones.
That's it.
Yeah, pretty. That was pretty enjoyable. It was really fucking weird seeing. It was like a Jeff Goldblum was in it, 1977. John Hurd. Yeah, that's his name. He was in The Sopranos. I'll show you a picture of him. Remember that guy from The Sopranos?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was in it. He was like the main character. Pretty good movie. Jeff Goldblum's hilarious in it. But
yeah, that might be why that movie was on my watch list because I saw Jeff Goldblum was in it.
Yeah, dude, 77. So I mean, he's a young man.
Young man.
You ever seen his first movie?
Fuck it.
You're
talking about Goldblum is 77, right?
That movie came out in 77. So that was Jeff Goldblum in 1977. But I think his first movie or one of his
He's got to be 60 now, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was, dude. It's that Charles Bronson movie. Fuck, man. It's not Dirty Harry. It's fucking, they remade it with Bruce Willis. Death Wish. It's called Death Wish. You never seen Death Wish?
I haven't.
Dude. It's basically just this guy, like two thugs, like Jeff Goldblum and some other dude.
Yeah.
Break into his apartment, attack his wife and daughter, like assault them. His daughter goes like catatonic. I think his wife dies. And he goes on a fucking like rampage. He's like killing.
John Wick.
Yes.
But before John Wick.
Yes, he's going on like this vigilante like crime crusade with like a .44 Magnum, and he's just like walking up to criminals, like blowing them off, blowing them off, blowing them away,
blowing them off.
He's blowing them.
He's blowing.
He's blowing them.
Now that's a movie I want to see.
They said, Charles, please, sir. Charles brought. He pulled out the gun. He said, "Don't touch me." No. I watched another good movie.
What was it?
Superman.
Oh yeah, I just saw that. Saw that as well with you.
My phone.
I just saw it for the second time.
Yeah, you saw it second
30 minutes ago.
30? Was it 30? God damn,
yeah.
Dude. Time flies.
Time does fly. So does Superman.
All right, I'm done. How do I unplug this thing?
and Crypto, he flies.
Man.
And Ultraman. You want to talk about the cast of this movie real quick?
I don't know anything about the cast of this movie. I didn't even look at it. I just know that Nathan Fillion and that kid from The Righteous Gemstones are in it.
Yeah, Jimmy Olsen. So we got David Corenswet as Superman.
Okay.
He
was great.
Rachel Brosnahan, is that how you say your name?
I think so.
Yeah, she's Lois Lane. I'm just going to throw it out here. She's the best, most interesting Lois Lane I've ever seen on anything. Only second to Terry Hatcher from Lois and Clark.
Oh, yeah?
She's the best part of that show.
Is that fucking Dean Cain?
Yeah, he sucks, but she's good. She's good. I just watched like 3-4 episodes of it the other day because I was trying to get into it. And I realized I liked her better than I liked Superman, and I was like,
oh, man, that's tough.
Who else we got? We got Alan Tudyk as Gary, or Superman Robot number 4.
Yeah.
We got Guy Gardner, played by Nathan Fillion, as you said.
Yeah.
We got, let's see. Man, this cast list is not in even anything that resembles a good order. We got Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor.
Yes.
Great job. And
Edie Gathegi, I think is how I don't think that's how you say his last name 100%.
Mr. Terrific.
That was Mr. Terrific.
Yeah, dude, he steals the show in like every scene that he's in.
Anthony Kerrigan played Rex Mason.
Yeah, that was Metamorpho.
That's the bald guy. He's in Barry. That dude.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I didn't know that. I love him. He's great. Nathan Fillion's Guy Gardner, obviously. I thought the girl that played Hawk Girl was really good. She was fun. I'm a Hawk fan. Hawk Man, Hawk Girl, whatever.
I don't know her name, and she's not popping up anywhere.
Her name is Isabella Merced.
Yes.
She's been in several different movies, most notably Turtles All the Way Down, Alien Romulus. I don't know. She was in the second season of The Last of Us. Transformers: The Last Night. I'm assuming that's the Marky Mark one. It
That's
is
one
the
of
Mark.
them. That's one of them.
It's one of the
Yeah.
Marky Mark ones.
I
Anyways.
like those ones better than the Shia LaBeouf ones. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh God,
And
that's
we
a
got,
topic for a different day.
Skylar Gisondo is Jimmy Olsen.
That's his
from
name.
Righteous Gemstones. Right?
Dude, Skylar Gizondo,
Yeah.
whatever, dude.
Gizondo.
Gizondo. He was in a video game that's like a Until Dawn, The Quarry kind of thing. If you're
Yeah.
familiar with those types of games,
Yep.
he was in that. He's great. But anyways, the cast listing I thought was awesome. I
Yeah.
was pleasantly surprised.
A very well casted movie.
Very, very well casted. That whoever they got to play that dog.
Oh yeah. I guess we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
I'll save something for later.
Yeah.
So what'd you think? You
That
like
was
it?
good.
It was good.
fun.
Yeah.
We didn't really get to talk about it afterwards. I mean, we briefly did.
Yeah,
but-
I was trying to withhold conversation
Yeah.
about it until we got down here to
Yeah.
record because it's like I don't know.
Well, dude, we could talk about the whole movie on the way home or like on the porch or something. And so it's like if we keep talking, we have to like, we don't want to say
Yeah.
everything and then be like, well,
It's less natural when we try to repeat bits. later
yeah,
on, you know?
yeah.
I didn't even take notes on it because I knew I was going to see it a second time right before we recorded, so
Right.
everything will be fresh.
Yeah, that and we're in a theater.
Yeah, yeah, true. I mean, I could have jotted some stuff down when I got out,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
I didn't even think to because like it's going to be fresh in there.
Oh, yeah. No.
Yeah.
Dude. Where do you want to go first?
I just want to say I love that there's no Superman origin story again. I mean, we get like
Thank God.
we get like bits and pieces of what resembles an origin story, right? He talks about things, but you asked when we thought we might be a few minutes late, which we weren't, thank God. But you asked if I miss anything, what's the opening of this movie? Is it just him getting as a baby? He's getting in the spaceship and they're sending him off, and I was like, oh no, there's none of that. And like the look on your face when I said there's none of that, you were like, nice.
Yeah. I was like, oh. Well, dude, it's tedious. And I guess technically this is the first like Superman movie in what, like
12 years.
12 years?
Yeah.
Okay. So
If you want to count Batman versus Superman,
I
it's
don't.
been 9 years. You know?
I wouldn't want to count that. But did that have an origin story in it? No, because they did it in Man of Steel. Right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's every time they come out with a new superhero movie, every time they redo it, they
Yeah.
always give you the origin story again.
Luckily, the last Spider-Man, Batman, Superman reboots all have not had origin stories. Thank God.
That Batman one especially was great. I guess that you said the Tom Holland one. It's been a long time since I've seen the first one, so I don't remember.
The first one's good.
Does it? No, but I'm saying the origin story. How does
No,
that?
no,
it
there's
doesn't-
no origin
okay,
story.
okay.
Now, recently, this is kind of off topic, but there's that Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man cartoon that on Disney Plus that I quite enjoyed. They've been teasing that thing for like 4 years at this point.
Okay.
And by the time that the first trailer came out, so what it was supposed to be was an origin story for Tom Holland's Spider-Man, right? That's what they were going to do originally.
Really?
And I think somewhere along the way, they thought this isn't interesting enough because in Homecoming and in Captain America Civil War, the first time you see that character, right? He's supposed to have gone through very little.
Right.
He doesn't even have a real suit then. It's just his homemade, right? So they were like, what can we even do for an entire season of a show that predates that's interesting? And they decided on setting the show in an alternate universe.
Oh, okay.
And it's set, like, there's stuff in it that happens before the events of Civil War, and there's stuff and most of it happens after.
Oh.
And so it's like, it kind of gives you a little hint of what might have happened to him before we see him in Civil War and a little bit after Civil War in that show. But can I spoil something about it? Or
Yeah.
okay.
No, I'm not gonna watch it.
So, I mean, you should.
Spoiler warning.
You should at some point. I will say.
Yeah.
So the beginning, I was a little put off by because the way he gets his powers is he's outside of his high school. Doctor Strange is fighting some like monster that kind of resembles like a Venom creature, right? But it's not Venom. And Doctor Strange is like throwing portals up and down, and he's throwing this monster through the portals, and a spider comes down through the portal closes around it, it loses its web, it lands on Spider-Man, he gets bit.
Ooh.
And that's his origin. And I was like, that is like so, like, I don't like that he gets his power, because that implied that spider was from a different universe or somewhere in the multiverse. I just didn't like the idea.
Yeah, it's like an entity itself.
Yeah,
right?
I like the idea of the spider being like experimented on, like what they do in the Sam Raimi movies and the Andrew Garfield. Like that's what I like. But what you find out is that you get to the end of the season, right? So in this, because it's alternate universe, Spider-Man is doing an internship at Osborn Industries because that exists in this universe, right? And this is like post Civil War. Norman Osborn is actually been helping him put his suit together. He knows his identity, all that. But the reason he has this real internship of all these smartest kids is that he's actually trying to open a portal that will let him do like some sort of like space or multiversal travel, right? So it actually goes, it goes astray. Doctor Strange appears. The spiders actually are radioactive spiders made by Oscorp, but they get stuck in a time loop. And so the way that Spider-Man gets his origin is because of a time loop of that spider escaping through the basement of
that just sounds so complicated.
It's actually not. I mean, it's kind of like explaining it, not watching it. But then I was like, this is exciting,
Yeah.
And it's still kind of ambiguous on actually how he got his powers to begin with. Because now it's a time loop, but it wasn't the first time it happened. Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like, so they low key gave Tom Holland's Spider-Man an origin, but it's a separate universe. So it's like you don't even know how much of that would actually be canon in the MCU.
Right.
Because some of the things like line up, like all the post Civil War stuff that happens in that cartoon is like stuff that was happening in the MCU. So it's like, and, I'm excited for them to make the second season of it. I'm a big fan.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, like, all that to say, Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, in the last 10 years, we have not gotten legit origins for them because we all know it by heart.
Yeah.
There's nothing new they can introduce, except for, I'll say...
Hey, dude, I couldn't take Uncle Ben getting got one more time. I don't know, man.
It's too much. Same thing with Batman's parents,
Yeah, dude, I can only watch Martha and Bruce get shot so many times, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't... So the same thing, I guess, with Superman. Like, you can only watch him crash to Earth and get raised by a bunch of hayseeds so many times, right?
Yeah,
like,
and... they let you know that happened. There's an opening crawl, in the beginning, which is cool.
Dude, the 3 decades ago or what, like that thing, dude, that was really cool.
I love the way the movie opens. But, speaking of origin stories and parents, there is a change that this movie makes, right?
Yes.
Which is that his parents actually have sent him here to conquer Earth. And that's not your, like, average Superman origin story.
Is that so? I mean, I'm to believe that is a fact, that, it wasn't like a lie.
Yeah. It's, they say, like, the top translators in the world have, like, decoded this message and like, they say it's true,
My only thing with that, when I was sitting there, I was like, and you were like, oh, but they have the other part in English so they could translate the other part. But I'm like, that's like a different planet. Like, how would they have access to, like, how they talk? And, like, I realize, like, there's, like, technology that you can fucking probably, like, stick an alien language into and they can parse out the fucking whatever.
Yeah, I mean, if you consider that this is, like, a super established universe.
Yeah,
like,
that's what it was, like, it was, like, kind of too far out of reach for me that I was like, that's not, like, a huge problem I have with the movie. I was just kind of like, that seems too much of
I get it. And I kind of, the first time I watched it and they did that, I was like, that's kind of weird that they're able to translate that. Like, these are all people that can translate world languages, not alien languages.
Yeah.
But then you kind of consider that, like, Superman has existed as Superman for 3 years at this point. Who knows what kind of Kryptonian documents and technology that the government has, like, you know what I'm saying?
No, for sure.
Yeah, what they've gotten their hands on at this point. Surely not a bunch of it, because the Fortress of Solitude, which we finally got on screen, again, like, a lot of it's still intact there, but who knows how much they actually have, And who's to say that there wasn't something in the Fortress of Solitude that Lex and the Engineer and Ultraman couldn't have grabbed, that they were able to, like, that has the Kryptonian language on it, like in writing, that they couldn't have grabbed to give to the people that are the translators. Like, who knows? But
yeah, no, I mean, it's a small thing, but I was just kind of like, that's kind of odd. They just kind of like,
yeah,
I just kind of brushed past it. But I mean, the plot just moves so quickly that at that point it really doesn't matter, because, like, whether it's real or fake, the news is out there, right?
This movie is full of stuff.
So much stuff.
You were asking me, like, can I pee at this point? And I was like, well, this is like, they're about to get to something like this, and you're like, oh, I don't want to miss that. And then I was thinking, after you said, like, well, I don't want to miss that, I was like, well, that's kind of like, you're about to miss other stuff if you go after it, You picked the exact right time where you, like, the only part of the movie that you could have missed 45 seconds of, you did.
Yeah, dude. I was was watching it, and I was picking my moment. I had a moment like that during watching a movie called The Fabelmans, and I walked out during a part of it, and I was like, dude, that's the best part of the movie. But I was like, there's going to be this emotional thing. They're going to have, like, a fucking... something. I was like,
luckily you stayed right through the Clark Kent bit.
Yeah, I had to stay through the emotional beat, and I had to dip, and then it was just some plot stuff, I guess. But
yeah, I mean, you just missed the Daily Planet crew getting together and being like, we're going to leak the information
We're going to do something about this. Dude, the indomitable human spirit.
Yeah, right. I think it's always funny in superhero movies where like the group of humans, that happen, they know of or know the main protagonist. They're like, yeah, we can do something here. It's like, what can you really do? Like, luckily, I mean, they were privy to information that changed public opinion about Lex Luthor and Superman.
Yeah.
So I mean, like they did help, but yeah, I mean, we're gonna do something. Right? Like,
we're gonna do something. They just get thrown into the sun or something like that.
That's how, dude. If it was a Zack Snyder movie, that's what would have happened. Like,
oh yeah, General Zod would have came out of nowhere and
thrown that spaceship.
Yeah, dude, they would have been dead, and then like Superman would have been mad, and then
and then he would have. Okay, so there's something worth mentioning here, right? People didn't like Man of Steel. Or people do like Man of Steel, but like people that aren't like Zack Snyder cultists take issue with the fact that Superman like destroys like a huge chunk of Metropolis when he's fighting Zod, right?
And he seems to like not care.
Yeah, he doesn't really care. Like he doesn't try to stop. Like he doesn't try to keep destruction to a low. Now in this movie, he does constantly. He's like.
That's a point that he makes.
Yeah, because he could have just knocked that huge monster straight into that building. Instead, he hits it from the front and then goes right behind it to catch
hits it from the back.
Yeah, no, he's catching it from the back. And then all that happens is he gets leaned up against the building and he cracks the window with his back.
Yeah.
But it's like little things like that in this movie. He really puts an effort into like making sure no one dies. Because like in Man of Steel, and they talk about it at the beginning of Batman versus Superman. There were like so many casualties in that.
Yeah,
so many.
Because there's a point in the fight with them. Like, is it Zod or is it both of them? Their lasers eyes are like ripping buildings literally apart.
Oh yeah, that's both.
Like in half.
Yeah.
Okay, I couldn't remember which one was doing it, but yeah, it's like they're cutting skyscrapers in half.
Yeah, and there's none of that in here.
No.
The only major destruction that happens in this movie is because of the villain.
Yeah.
While Superman is like incapacitated, and it's when they're letting the wormhole from the pocket universe like rip through the half of Metropolis. But they make it a point in the movie to have people evacuated from that part of the city before they can get sucked into that thing. Right.
We've jumped really far ahead, but
well, yeah. I mean, I guess we were going to really go through the whole thing plot wise.
Yeah,
like because people shouldn't be listening to this if they haven't seen the movie. But
that's true. But I mean, it might be one of my favorite Superman versus Lex Luthor, like
oh yeah,
like the story of the movie, like the story is really really good.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
Lex Luthor is just this genius, and he's like obsessed, like to the point that Superman even says he's like it's getting kind of weird.
Yeah, you're
how obsessed with me you are, dude. You're creepy, and Lex Luthor's just like foaming at the mouth for him.
This is the best Superman Lex rival. Of course, Chris Reeves, Gene Hackman. They have a good dynamic there in that movie.
But that's the classic example.
But so I'll say about that. I think that's a great movie. I think that Gene Hackman's a good Lex Luthor. I think Gene Hackman actually really becomes a real Lex Luthor in like maybe I don't know. He's not in 2, right? He's in 3 again. Maybe he's in 2 a little bit, but like in 3, he's actually doing Lex Luthor shit. Like in the first one, he's kind of not a smart guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's just evil.
Yeah, he's just an evil rich dude. And it's missing the part of like, this Lex in this, Superman 2025 movie. He's like studied all of Superman's moves, down to a T, that when he has his like what is revealed to be his Superman clone, Ultraman, out there fighting Superman, he is yelling in the background 1A, 5-7, all this shit.
Like it's chess.
Yeah, like he's literally playing chess with this alien clone he's made to beat Superman. Like he has all the moves in his head memorized.
Yeah.
He's yelling them as he's going. Like this is a smart, organized Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
well, that's the thing. I mean, also too, the thing about chess is like they've got books and shit like that of like defenses and openings and things like that. And it's like you just know on the board you move here. You go to A5, C7, whatever,
it's
right?
that kind of.
So he's thinking about it like that. And it's pretty much the entire movie. He's got that shit down to a T. He's got like the perfect opener, even the finishers and shit like that.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's got it
all
yeah
figured out.
I mean, this is like you said, it's a good Lex versus Superman rivalry. And then speaking of relationships and dynamics that work in the movie, the Superman and Lois dynamic, the Clark and Lois dynamic, is probably my favorite that we've seen in any of these so far.
Yeah.
We were talking about the Chris Reeve movie, the first and second one. And Lois is there.
Mm-hmm.
She's not extremely important to the plot in that first one. And the second one, they have their whole little love thing where he's like gives up his powers to be with her and stuff, and she's important there. But still, her characterization is not as strong as they do in this one. Rachel Brosnahan or Brosnahan or whatever how you say her name. She's my favorite Lois that I've seen
to date.
In any live action stuff. And I can't really say that for sure about David Corenswet being my favorite Superman. Yeah, but this is certainly my favorite Superman movie.
He was good.
Yeah, he's good. He is good. And I think it's one of those things where I did like him, but I didn't like Henry Cavill at first. And I ended up liking him.
What, the guy before him?
Huh?
The guy before him.
Yeah, Man of Steel and
No, I'm saying the guy before Henry Cavill.
Is Brandon Routh?
Ralph?
Yeah, if we're going off of just live actions,
right?
Live
Yeah,
action movies.
How do you feel about that guy while we're here? Just curious.
Well, he is his Superman is supposed to be the Chris Reeve Superman,
right?
Yeah, so
I didn't know that,
and he nails that.
Okay,
they do his hair just like him,
yeah.
The glasses and the fits and everything, and I like him. I was like 6 when that movie came out, so I was
it's been a minute since I've seen that.
I liked it a lot. I have all the toys from that movie, and everything. I think Kevin Spacey was a good Lex too. I know. What's happened with him since, But it kind of just makes it, when you watch that movie, be like, yeah, he is fucking evil. Like, when I watched Superman Returns the other day, I was like, yeah, it's even more believable that this guy is awful.
Something's wrong with him.
Yeah, there's something messed up in the head of this guy.
Yeah.
And it almost kind of sells the movie for you more. It's like, yeah, he is a creep. He's a bad guy.
Perfect casting.
Yeah, right?
20 years later.
And then he kind of plays like an evil dude in House of Cards, right? And it's like...
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, he's good at playing evil because he kind of is
He's kind of evil.
Yeah.
Have you seen The Usual Suspects?
Yes. That's the movie that came out right after all the allegations.
No. This was the one that was out years ago. And are you sure you've seen it? Because I don't want to tell you if you haven't seen it.
Yeah, I might be mixing up the...
Okay, dude.
Who else is in it?
Benicio del Toro, Gabriel Byrne, one of the Baldwins. It's not Alec, it's a different one. I think it's Steven Baldwin.
I don't know if I've seen that.
Kevin Pollak is in it too. Dude.
I think
we got to watch that movie.
I think the movie that I'm thinking of that he was in that I saw was...
I thought it was Baby Driver that just came out right after all those allegations.
That might have been right before. There's something that was in theaters...
All the Money in the World.
Yeah,
they reshot that movie because they released the trailer, and then those allegations came out, and they reshot every bit of his scenes with Christopher Plummer, I think. Sorry, I was looking. I was looking up to think.
That's right. I saw that on IMDb the other day.
And then they re-released the trailer. So there's 2 trailers out there.
One Kevin Spacey, one. But I said there's a lot of stuff in this movie, right?
Dude, it's a hand-packed sandwich.
Yeah, it is. You got the Justice Gang, right? Because there's no Justice League yet. But, it's Guy Gardner, Green Lantern, Hot Girl, Mr. Terrific, which, I mentioned earlier. He steals every scene that he's in.
So
and when we were talking about the dynamics of specific characters, the Lois, Mr. Terrific dynamic is awesome. They have, their, side...
Oh, yeah, that was
side
great,
quests
dude.
together. Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah, I'm really happy for that actor, Edie, whatever his name was, because he was in X-Men First Class. And they set up... Yeah, he set up... he's like a mutant that dies pretty early on.
I didn't realize
But
that.
his character, if I can't even remember the mutant's name because it's not a big deal in any X-Men stuff that I've read, but his character is supposed to be able to adapt to anything. But they kill him super easy, and it's like, why couldn't he adapt to what they were doing? The way he dies,
It's just like one of those things. Like that doesn't make sense based off what you just told me.
I've seen him in something else, and I thought that guy's a good actor, and they really wasted,
what
role they gave him in X-Men First Class. And so I'm glad to see him now in another huge franchise where he's going to get to carry on, and he's being really well loved now.
Oh, dude, people are like, give this man his own TV show.
Yeah, which I wouldn't go that far. I think a mistake that Disney has made with Marvel Studios stuff is that characters that don't need their own narrative and spotlight are getting. I don't think that we really needed a.
So it leans into the glup shitto conversation.
Yeah,
yeah.
So I'm Mr. Terrific might just be so good because he gets an hour of screen time, right? We may not need a 6-hour long TV show about him.
And I think hopefully mercifully rather, James Gunn recognizes that.
Yeah.
Because like, let's point out a movie that he made previously, Suicide Squad, right?
Yeah, or The Suicide Squad.
The Suicide
right?
Squad. Sorry,
Well,
there is a difference.
Were you going to talk about Peacemaker?
I wasn't going to say anything
Because
about
I was going to
Peacemaker.
say that is an instance of them actually taking an unknown character and giving him a show and it working.
No, I was going to
just don't think it
say,
always works.
what I mean, would you feel that way if you got a Polka Dot Man show? Genuinely,
Yeah,
not because
no.
he's like quirky and he's like, actually, I
No.
like David Desmalchian. Or
No, I don't
just
need a
butchered
polka
his
dot
last
man
name.
show.
But
Yeah, I don't need a
you see
polka
what I'm
dot.
saying?
Yeah,
You see what I'm saying? So maybe he's got the enough sense, and I don't want to say respect for the source material, but maybe just for the actor, you
yeah.
know,
to not do that.
put
you
them
know.
through that for however
And-
many seasons.
And Mr. Terrific is like situationally awesome in this movie, right? So, something that James Gunn has spoken about doing with this new DC universe is like not wanting to do things to make like purely for the idea of things making money, right?
Right.
Because you could throw out a Mr. Terrific, TV special. It's an hour and a half, right, directly after this in a few months, and it would get a bunch of watches just because of how much he's loved in this movie.
Absolutely.
But instead he's just like, and that would be for money, right? Like seeing the
100%.
response of his character in this movie, then they'd immediately make something after. Like that would be purely to make the big bucks off of capitalize on the excitement. But instead, he's doing things like, I don't greenlight a script on anything, even a Batman movie, until I've seen it and I think it's good, right? And that's why next year we're getting a Clayface movie.
a body horror Clayface.
Yeah, he said
movie.
it wasn't in his original plan, but Mike Flanagan turned in that script and he was like, okay, this is worth making. Even though it wasn't in my 10-year DC plan or whatever, it's worth making. I'm going to work it in there. And that's the sign that these movies are doing right? And in a movie like this that's so, like, I would even use the word overstuffed a bit. That could be my only complaint with it, is that you don't get to know each individual character as much as you might have if there was less of them, right? And
Like if it wasn't the Justice Gang and it was like just Guy Gardner showing up or something like that.
Yeah, just Guy Gardner and Superman and
Lois
But
or
then
something, yeah.
but then you also get Metamorpho, who's in Lex's like pocket universe prison. That's a whole other thing. He's important to the plot for sure because like
Is he like a I don't want to say like well-known comic book character, but like if you're like into DC Comics, like would you be like, oh shit, it's that dude?
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I was
I
looking at that guy and I
recognized
was
him.
like, who the fuck is this?
I recognized him because I feel like he's been the villain in some Superman comics I read as
Okay.
a kid.
Okay.
But I mean, he's like a good guy in this, like for the second half of his.
Well, because he has to be. He's in prison. He's doing what he's got to do because he's in prison there, and he's like, I don't want to get killed. And all this stuff.
Yeah.
And then he sees, he has a turn. He has an
Yeah.
arc, a small arc for him.
Yeah, just and it's based around his kid. I mean, who knows if he would have made
Yeah,
the right choice to
but
help
it's like-
Superman if his kid wasn't in
Well,
danger.
I'll even say they show it towards the end of the movie. He's got a human wife.
Yeah.
So it's like he sees this man. I know this whole thing has been spoiler talk, but like spoilers, right?
yeah,
He fucking Lex Luthor's playing Russian roulette with a human, like just a regular fucking guy. Second bullet kills the dude. Something about that, and that dude's willingness to die for Superman, because he's like, dude, like if you heard the guy screaming, he's like, I believe in you, Superman.
Yeah, he's like,
all
don't tell him anything.
He's like,
Yeah.
don't say nothing. Like a hardened. I don't know, like something you see in like an action movie where like their sidekick's about to die. They're like, don't tell him anything, and they like kill him or whatever. It was like over like that. Something changed in Metamorpho because of that.
yeah.
And like Superman's, I don't know. It was really cool.
Yeah,
It was very brief, but I liked it.
Even when I say this movie is overstuffed with things, he did get a character arc, you know, and he's like the 20th character to be introduced in the movie, and he still gets a small character arc. So I mean, like, James Gunn did a good job, right? But I was going to say, normally a movie made like this with this many characters packed in would be for the purpose of selling toys, right? Like the reason,
Yeah.
looking back, you look at Avi Arad or whatever his name was that was over the Sony Spider-Man stuff at the time. He made them use Venom in Spider-Man 3.
You're talking about Sam Raimi.
Yeah.
Okay.
He made them. Avi Arad was over Sam Raimi. Right?
That era
and
of Spider-Man.
him and Amy Pascal, I believe, made Venom be one of the villains in Spider-Man 3. And the reason was that they could sell toys. Because that movie is packed with 3 villains, right? Or New Goblin becomes a hero at the end. But like,
Dude.
it's packed with 3 other characters.
And Thomas Hayden Church was acting his fucking ass
Yeah.
off, dude, as the Sandman.
Well, because that was the character that the movie was written as the villain, right? Like they wrote him to be the big bad. It is very obvious that he was like the first character attached, other than Spider-Man, to that movie. right? And I think that movie would have been all for the better if it had just been Sandman and New Goblin that Spider-Man fights, right? As much as I loved to see Venom as a kid, but when you find out why they shoehorned Venom in there, it's to sell toys. But this movie does not feel like all these characters are here to sell toys. You
They're
know what I'm saying?
organically within
They
the
all
world.
like they find a way to make them all kind of important to the story. You know, I'd say like Hawk Girl should have had more lines, maybe. You know, she speaks like 4 or 5 times in the movie.
And she, I mean, anytime else she's talking, it's screaming like a hawk.
Yeah.
Screeching
But
like a hawk.
other than that, like everybody, like Mr. Terrific's part, like him being able to hack things and open that portal, you know, the Pocket Universe is important to the plot. You know, like I mean, I guess you could argue that Guy Gardner's not like super important to the.
No, he is. He's like a foil because he's like a thorn in really everybody's side. Because like you said at the end, you were telling me at the end of the movie, he's an asshole.
Yeah,
That's
he's
kind of
supposed
his
to-
thing.
That's his thing.
He's just a smart ass. But I mean, at the same time though, he's like good at it, and he's
yeah,
good
he's
at what he
great.
does.
Yeah,
he's
he's
good. He's a
great.
good Green Lantern.
Yeah, you know, there's this is probably some retcon later on. I mean, it has to be, but I've heard that in the comics when Hal Jordan gets the ring, right when the alien Green Lantern crashes to Earth, and it finds Hal Jordan. Apparently, its first choice was Guy Gardner, but he wasn't around or something, and that's why it finds Hal Jordan. That's like a thing that they've kind of rewritten into that,
Like
origin.
in the newer day and age. Okay.
Yeah, but like that's interesting that like because Guy Gardner is like super important to the Lantern Corps, the Green Lantern Corps. You know, he's an important character to that. I mean, Nathan Fillion in an interview for this movie was saying that he's not like as quite the professional as Hal Jordan, but when I forgot the names of the guys, but the blue people that run the Green Lantern Corps, he's like
the Blue Lanterns.
no, it's not the Blue Lantern. I know. Yeah,
they're little alien looking dudes.
They're on OA.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like council of them or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's like, when they need a dirty job done, then they call Guy Gardner because that's what they can rely on to do. Because he is good at what he does. You know, he's just a jerk. You know?
Yeah, he's a jerk.
And Nathan Fillion plays a perfect Guy Gardner here. You know, when I first saw the Green Lantern was in the movie, I was excited.
That fucking gold tooth he has.
Yeah.
Did you notice that, dude? I was like, when he like opens his mouth when they're in the Hall of Justice. I'm not trying to cut you off, but I was like, this dude's badass.
Yeah, right.
I was like, he's got a fucking gold, like an out. It's like one of those things. It's like an outline on the tooth. It's like a gold outline or whatever.
Yeah,
I don't know.
No, it's pretty cool. But when I first heard that Guy Gardner was in this, I was like, why are they using him of all the lanterns?
That's also my thought.
But it makes so much sense to have him here because he is like probably the biggest comedic relief, right? Besides Crypto.
Easily, yeah.
But just the pure amount of like lore that we get in this movie is such a drastic departure from what the DC movies were doing before, you know? And it's great. I mean, this movie, I've heard people say, kind of feels like a sequel to a movie that we didn't see, but it doesn't really matter, you know? Like, it's just so good to see a comic book movie that makes use of all of the stuff, right?
Yeah.
And it makes it all work. Nothing feels too cheesy. Like, I thought Crypto being here might... I don't know. I thought it might throw the movie a little bit.
I thought it might be like a little bit of a member berry, you know?
Yeah, but they find a way to like get him. You know, he's incapacitated for a bit. They find a way to not have him there by Superman the whole time, so you get some good Superman stuff.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and I was kind of worried with the Justice Gang being in the trailers. I was like, oh man, are they going to do every fight with all 4 of them? But they don't. They find a way to make Superman have his bits. You know?
Oh yeah, he's got his moment. Dude, he's got his moment in the sun.
Yeah. Speaking of the Justice Gang, though, you know, they say they're funded by Maxwell Lord, who you see at the end is played by James Gunn's brother, Sean. There's a Hall of Justice, right?
Yeah. They're working on they're literally carving the letters into the building as we're watching the movie.
It makes you wonder if, like, you know, in the comics, there's the Justice League, but they're predated by the Justice Society of America. And in the movie, you see that in the opening crawl thing, they say that it's been 300 years since metahumans first appeared. So it makes you wonder if, like, some version of a superhero team has already existed at this point.
I don't think so, dude. I think because Justice League is second. Is that how that works? Like,
Yeah, Justice Society of America happens first.
right. So maybe that's what they're making. Maybe that's what it is.
You think they're making a Justice Society pre-Justice League?
Maybe so. I mean, that would make sense because I mean, it's got Guy Gardner in it. It's got Hawk Girl. It's got that one. You know,
the Justice Society of America has let's see, it has the very first Green Lantern, Alan Scott.
That's his name. I knew there was another name.
And he doesn't. His like ring is like not related to the Green Lantern Corps.
Right.
It's powered differently. They got Jay Garrick Flash, right? With the where's the helmet with the
metal
wings.
tin.
Yeah,
helmet.
and
World
it does
War I
include
guy.
Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman, I believe. But like now in the way things have been retcon comic wise, you have Jay Garrick Flash, Alan Scott Green Lantern, a handful of other characters, not including like Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman,
right,
that actually make up the first JSA, and then the Justice League is where you get Batman coming in because you can't make Batman that old, right? You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
right.
You could
like for him to like if a Justice Society of America exists in this that has already existed in this universe, right? It's older, right?
That would make sense.
So by the time that a Justice League movie would roll around, you'd have like a 60-year-old Batman.
I see what you mean.
And they're not going to do a really old Batman again.
They're not. Well, is the Rob Pat Batman connected?
No.
I can't take another Batman movie, dude.
I can because the
new Batman.
The one that they're because they're making a Batman 2, right? With Rob
I'm not
Pattinson,
talking about Rob Pat. I'm talking about a new casting.
I can take it because it's going to be such a different Batman than what we've ever seen before, right? Dude, like the way they talk about it.
Yeah, dude, I got that with the Batman with Matt Reeves' version.
Well, Matt Reeves' Batman is just like a better version, more detective driven of the Chris Nolan movies, in my opinion.
No, I mean.
Like
they're more of a detective. They're more like the detective comics than the Christopher Nolan movies.
Yeah, but it's just again another dark and gritty Batman that's super grounded. That's what that movie is. And I like that movie.
That's what Batman is.
No, Batman is also a character that wears his underwear on the outside of his costume.
I mean, if you're looking at it like that,
he also fights like supernatural villains, right? That we never see him fight in any Batman movie so far, right? They always find a way to make whatever villain that he fights
grounded.
Like grounded.
I was because I was thinking about it. And I was like. Yeah, no, you're right. Because like Jonathan Crane, he's just a fucking scientist or whatever.
Yeah, and we don't. Of course, I would like to see him fight Joker again, right? But like we don't need. We don't need.
No, we don't need.
We don't need him to just keep fighting grounded villains, right? And I want to see him with a Robin that doesn't suck because Batman and Robin and Batman Forever, those movies suck. I want to see a good Batman and Robin story, and that's what they're doing.
Wait a minute,
those movies are bad.
You leave George Clooney out of this.
I mean, George Clooney's not really
Christopher O'Donnell.
Yeah, I mean, they're not exactly the problem with those movies, You're
right. It's Alicia Silverstone.
No, it's the fucking, it's the writing,
No, the writing is horrible.
The writing is awful. I mean, like Batman and Robin.
Excuse me, sorry about that.
Movie made to sell toys, right? That's like.
Hey, this is a slight rabbit trail that has nothing to do with talking about that movie. How do you feel about Alfred? Do you like him, the actor, in the George Clooney nipple movie?
Well, the nipple one is the.
That's not what I'm talking about. Do you like him in the George Clooney? Do I have to pull out the Batman nipples on George Clooney?
Does he have them too?
I think he's got bat nipples.
Val Kilmer has them.
He's got bad bat nipples, but I think George Clooney also has bat
really?
nipples. We're getting caught up.
I've only watched Batman and Robin.
We're getting the forest
ever.
for the trees here.
I do like the Alfred.
I was just curious because I always loved him. Like as a kid, I loved that old man. Yeah. I was like, I fucking love you, Alfred.
No,
please don't fucking die.
No, Alfred's not the problem.
No, for sure. I was just curious. Anyways, that was also made to sell toys, right?
Yeah. Dude,
I literally have a Christopher O'Donnell Robin toy at my parents' house. It's about that big. I'm not joking because I have a Batman that goes with it. You saying that just reminded me.
Yeah. I mean, that's like, I think that's a movie where the studio. So I've read this is a side trail again, but Batman Forever. I forgot who directed that movie.
Was it not?
Oh, it's Joe Schumacher.
I was going to say Joel Schumacher.
Yeah, he made both Batman and Robin and Batman Forever, right?
Because he had two different Batmans.
Yeah, Batman Forever was initially supposed to kind of be this darker movie that was more of a continuation of those two Tim Burton ones.
Right.
But it had a little bit of silly stuff, right? They saw a cut of what he was doing halfway through filming the movie, and they said, make it sillier.
No.
They said, cut all of this dark Batman stuff, make it sillier. And then, of course, they just made him make Batman and Robin silly. But at that point, they saw how much more of a box office success that Batman Forever was than those first two because it was so kid-friendly and they could sell toys. That the Batman and Robin, they're like, we're designing this one to sell toys because that's the money, right? And I think that's where that is right there at the end of... The movie's in 98 or 99, right? That is right there at the end of, that's right at the end of movies being considered more art than blockbuster, right? I think you get to the late 90s, early 2000s, and for 15 years, everything is about blockbusters making huge money, right? So I think it's really a sign of, and very telling of those times. when that happens.
Yeah, you saying that actually reminds me of something because you're talking about it being dark and gritty, and then they're like, no, make it silly.
Yeah.
I'm trying to, because The Crow had come out in the 90s, which I know that's like a graphic novel. It's not exactly a superhero. Then there's the Blade movie in 98.
Yeah.
And then 2 came out like 02 or whatever. So I mean, like we're all it all is kind of like wrapping up in that ending. You said that made me think about it for a second. I was all this super dark and gritty shit. Then they got Joel Schumacher as like put nipples on that motherfucker.
Yeah, and they learned learned real quick with Batman and Robin that you can't just do a movie to sell toys.
Yeah,
because that movie I think was a box office failure, especially compared to Batman Forever.
talk about the George Clooney one.
Yeah.
I know, dude. I will say this right now before we go any further. I never know the names of like any of them going, like just like for some reason I get them confused in my head.
Batman and Batman Returns are both Michael Keaton, Tim Burton movies.
Okay,
and then Batman Forever is the third one. That's with Val Kilmer, and Joel Schumacher directs that, and then he directs the fourth one, which he has George
and
Clooney.
Robin.
Yeah,
Batman and Robin.
Yeah,
okay,
and I'm pretty sure that you said Chris O'Donnell's his name. I'm pretty sure he's Robin in both of those movies.
I think you're correct about that. I think you are right about that.
I was reading, talking about, you said Alicia Silverstone's the problem, like jokingly.
Oh, yeah.
I read that when she was cast as Batgirl, people were like body shaming her.
Huh?
Because she wasn't like, it was the time where everybody was like really like, they were all
thin?
Like, everybody's extremely thin. But you watch that movie and you're like, she's very attractive,
dude,
right?
Alicia, as a kid,
yeah.
I had the biggest
and it's
crush.
Like, why do people
Alicia
body shame her for like, they were acting like she was too big to play Batgirl.
They're like, she's got a cheek on her, dude. Get her out of here.
Yeah, it's a weird time, right? Weird.
It's so strange.
Because now if you did that, if someone was like, oh, they're not a stick, they can't play this like superhero that's a woman character, you would get ate up on the internet, right?
I don't know, dude. They did that to Brie Larson.
They said she was too big?
No, well, the inverse. They were like, this girl's a stick. She can't be Captain Marvel. Same thing with Gal Gadot on Wonder Woman. Yeah, man.
Dude,
it's just loud, vocal minorities that just hate women.
They both worked out for those roles, right? Like, they...
Fucking those Wonder
Woman
movies.
Like, when we're talking about movies back then, like pre the 2000s, really pre this huge superhero cinematic universe.
Pre-2008.
Yeah. Like pre that, actors didn't really work out as much for these movies, right? But now anybody can play anybody and look like anything because they hire these trainers. They'll spend $1 million or $2 million on trainers for people to get in shape
and drugs,
dude. Well, dude,
let's not forget
that Chris Pratt transformation from like what he's doing on Parks and Rec to like Star-Lord. No, that's workout. That's working out.
Yeah, dude, and getting injected with testosterone every week.
I don't know, man. His workout regime, like he posted that, and I think he got it from Arnold.
Dude, if he followed the Arnold thing, that would be nuts.
Because that was around the time that he was starting to
I don't want
date
to discredit this. His transformation from what he looked like in Parks and Rec to like that first Guardians movie, good for him. That was great. Like I was like, dude, you're representing for weird chunky dudes everywhere. Like you too can be this.
Yeah.
But
yeah, but just the idea of, like someone not being the right level of fit for a movie, it's just less of a thing now. But finding about Alicia Silverstone back then, it's like weird.
Well, it's like back then they're like, she's got too much of a body on her. She can't be Batgirl. And then fast forward like 20 years later, and they're like, Gal Gadot's too skinny to be Wonder Woman. It's like, what do you mean?
The real complaint there should have been that she cannot act for shit. That should have been the complaint.
Nobody fucking cares about the quality of it, Jesse. They just like to ogle at women.
But now looking back, people are like, I saw someone's review for Superman.
The new one?
Yeah, on the new one on Letterboxd, and they said, call me Gal Gadot because I don't know how to act right now.
God damn.
And I was like, that's funny. Like in retrospect, people acknowledge that just casting somebody that looks a specific way for a movie is...
Oh, dude, like from here up, that's like, that looks like Diane to me. That's great.
But
then everything else, she's like tall.
That was Zack Snyder's thing, is he just casted people that looked like characters, not whether they could act, whether they
Dude. I don't know.
But anyway, back to this movie.
We did take a little bit of a rabbit trail.
We took a little rabbit hole, but it's all right.
I'm sweaty. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know. Me too. The fan's
It
on.
is on.
I don't know what's on. But what are we not talking about? Oh, the score, man.
Dude, the score.
I was telling you on the way down here, when you got those kids in Japanhor, whatever the country that Baravia is invading.
Yes.
Yeah, and they are like holding up that Superman flag, waiting for him to come as Baravia is about to invade. and the
Dude.
John Williams score plays. It's like it made me want to cry.
It was good, man. It was emotional. Hey,
Yeah.
dude, I can't lie. I was a little misty eyed at some points.
Yeah.
It was excuse me, that just crept out of me. It was hopeful.
Yeah, it's an
Inspiring.
extremely hopeful movie, which we needed after Man of Steel being a super dark and kind of hopeless Superman movie. So, I mean, Superman's just supposed to be hopeful, in my opinion.
Yeah, I wanted to point out something about some actors I saw in this movie. So the guy that plays Pa Kent and the man that plays Vasil Gurkos. I'm going to start with Vasil first, the leader of the invading country, Moravia.
Yeah.
The guy, the old guy that Hot Girl had, you know?
Yeah.
He's a staple in Nicholas Winding Refn movies. Like back in the day, like his older, like his is it Danish movies, his older like original, because his name is Zlatko Buric, and he is a Croatian and Danish. He's been around forever. The dude, let's see, I got my information here. Born in 1953. Dude's been acting for years, but he's you know, like Drive, stuff like that. He wasn't in Drive. Same director, like movies before that, dude. He was like a huge like in that thing. So like when he popped up on screen, that's why I was like, ain't no fucking way my man is on screen right now. And then the guy that played Pa Kent was in a movie that I really love called Jacob's Ladder. I don't know if you've ever seen it.
I've seen that movie.
He's
I didn't realize that he was in that.
I knew I was looking at the dude and I was like, I recognize that guy. And I just now was looking through it as you and I were talking, and he was in Jacob's Ladder. He plays a side character, but he's great. But I love seeing those two dudes pop up. I thought that the woman that played Ma Kent was
good.
Incredibly believable as a southern-ish
they make them
farm woman.
More farm southerner in this movie than any Superman stuff before, which it kind of just, when I thought like, oh, this is different, but then I think about it, and it just makes sense.
It just felt natural to me, yeah.
Like, what is her name? The lady that plays Ma Kent in Man of Steel and Batman vs Superman.
Oh,
she's not
dude.
very southern.
I'm gonna have to look it up while we're talking about it.
Yeah, she's a very famous actress. It's been in like a lot of
multiple movies. I just
a
her
lot
name
of good
escapes
drama
me.
stuff.
Martha Kent is played by Diane Lane, the one and only.
Yeah.
Her, dude. She's been in 1,000 movies.
Yeah, she's a great actress, but
Yeah,
she's
she's
not
wonderful.
very southern in those movies.
That was me being taken away by a tornado.
Oh. You just put your hand up. You're like, stop talking. I was like,
That's what he does in the movie, dude. He goes,
oh yeah. Oh,
come on,
God,
man.
I forgot. Dude.
Every time I do that to you, you're like, what? So no, for everyone that can't see me, I put my hand up like Kevin Costner in Man of Steel when he's about to get eaten by the tornado or whatever.
Dude, people try to make sense of that scene so much still to this
doesn't.
day because he's like, don't reveal that you're Superman by flying over here and saving me, and it's like. We've already seen at this point in the movie that he can move extremely fast to the point where people don't know what's happening. I'm like, he could have sped over there, saved him, taken him really far away, and no one would have known what happened, right? And people are like, no, it's the symbolism of them. Like, the fuck?
Yeah.
The Zack Snyder symbolism shit is so old, dude. Just make a good movie.
So heavy-handed.
Yeah, just make a good movie, right? Not everything has to be like that. I don't know.
I agree. Dude, speaking of how it looked, this movie looked like a superhero movie.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to sound like reductive, but it was shot correctly.
And it's bright.
Yeah. That fucking teaser trailer that you and I talked about a few months ago where I was like, it looks like shit, because I said it looked like shit at one point.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like that in the movie.
No.
The trailer.
It's cleaned up, yeah.
It's very strange the way that they made that teaser trailer look to how this movie came out looking. Like, it's like.
Well, to my knowledge, that teaser trailer that's like, some of the, like the end of last year or whatever.
Yeah.
They only use a handful of shots from that in the actual movie.
I didn't really have
or
seen
different
it.
versions of shots that they do use are in that trailer.
It's the way they get the camera set up, the way they've got the lighting, the lens flares, the way that the sun comes down. I mean, like, there's like when they're like flying around, like it's what I wanted the superhero movie to look like, right?
Yeah.
It's not these big wide shots of a fucking CGI line moving across the air or whatever.
No, it's good.
It's good. Like they're like their head. You can see their head moving because like I would assume they've got them on some kind of wire system and they're like perpendicular to the ground, right? And then they've got a cage around them, like hooked up to them that's got the camera that's like moving. And I'm assuming because you see it like when it's like moves around them and it like shakes and all this stuff. It's just really well.
Yeah,
it's
really
done.
very well shot. It's all very believable. I mean, the amount of practical effects they use too, I think, helps make it look better than your average like MCU movie. You know,
Oh,
'cause
yeah.
those end up are all green screen. You know,
I can't get over how good this movie looked.
Yeah.
Compared to like half the slop I've watched.
Yeah, right.
Not to call it slop, but
yeah, I mean,
it's slop.
Like, I mean, like visually compared to this, yeah, a lot of those things are.
Did
slop.
you see the message I sent you early this morning, late last night? I finished watching a different movie, and my streaming service auto played X-Men Apocalypse.
Oh God.
I was 23 minutes in, I messaged you. I cut it off. I was like, I wasn't going to stay up and watch it anyways, but I was like, this is actually like fucking terrible.
Yeah, that's
it
where those...
looks horrible.
Yeah.
It looks as bad as what people say Marvel movies look like now.
Yeah, well, X-Men Apocalypse is only 2016?
I don't know.
2017? Yeah, well, it was
2018, 2019?
Really unfortunate about those X-Men movies is that, you know, the third one of the original trilogy, not good. That's the general consensus, right?
Yeah.
Then they brought it back around.
First Class?
With First Class, right? They had Matthew Vaughn directing it. Then they get the original director from the first two
Bryan
back
Singer?
for Days of Future Past. Yeah. And then it's like he's back, but then there's all those allegations, you know, at the same time as the Kevin Spacey stuff. So then they get the guy that, like, he either directed the third one that was bad, or he just has been, or he wrote it, right? They get him to direct Apocalypse and Dark Phoenix, and they're bad. They should have got Matthew Vaughn back, right? But like, like all the hope you had for that franchise, right, from First Class and Days of Future Past, is just gone when you watch Apocalypse. And
Dude,
it's so sad because Oscar Isaac is the villain in that movie. That could have been so good.
Dude,
like, he's a great actor in everything that he does. Like,
yeah, I went to bed. I was like, I just know whatever I watch tomorrow, it will be so much better than what I just saw.
Oh yeah, yeah. That movie, I really wanted to like it. I really did, but it was hard.
It looked so bad. Oh my god, dude! Don't even fucking get me started about like Angel. This is a huge tangent. Like Angel, the way he looks, the way Nightcrawler looks, the way I don't know if I really care for the guy that was. I don't know if I really care about the guy that played Scott Summers in that movie. Like, I think it's Ty Sheridan, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Jennifer Lawrence was hot.
Yeah.
It was, dude.
She didn't even want to do those movies anymore at that point. But that was like her and James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender are the only good bits.
That's what I was about to say. Is like when they're on camera, it was like okay and it looked fine. But unfortunately for Jennifer Lawrence, on my viewing, the only parts of the movie that I saw at the beginning were with that fucking Nightcrawler character. And it was bad.
Yeah.
It was bad.
I forgot the Nightcrawler's even in that. Yeah.
He's very blue.
Yeah.
Very blue. He looks almost identical to the way that he did in the original trilogy. He's got the runes and shit on his face and all that.
Yeah. You know, they're bringing him and that original actor back for...
You're kidding me.
For Doomsday.
They're bringing the OG actor of Nightcrawler back for
and he hasn't done it since X-Men 2. Yeah. This is exciting. But anyway.
Don't give me hope.
Back to Superman.
Back to back.
You know, before I went into this movie, I loosely knew about the Baravia versus Japanhur, or whatever he said the countries, the plot, right? I knew it was like a 2-country feud, Superman.
Question: Is that this is made up for the movie, right? This isn't like something from the comics.
I don't believe that it's in the comics.
I was just curious.
But you know, I knew about that. I didn't immediately draw like, oh, this is like some sort of conflict that is like akin to what's going on in real life right now, and conservatives are like super mad about like the comparisons that can be drawn between that and like Israel and Palestine, and it's like what's going on over there right now, and it's interesting that like the movie just says this one country is invading another. They've made up lies about them being enslaved, right? They're invading them. They haven't done anything. But Baravia is like the clear bad guy in this movie, right? They don't ever mention anything over religion or a holy war. So why are people really mad about this? Is it just because they just know that like I mean, I'm not trying to get super political. Is it just because they know that Israel's wrong right now? Like, is it just because they watch this and they're like, this is too much like real life? One of these countries is wrong. This makes me not like. Well, I don't like it because the country's wrong. Like, you know, it's really telling how they actually view things when they're like.
It's kind of like holding a mirror up to somebody. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's kind of, and I'm not trying to be like, that's what art does, baby. Because like that is what art is like intended to do. It's meant for you to connect with people and all these different things.
This movie stays out of the, like, there's not too many real life comparisons.
What it is again, it's like holding a mirror up to somebody. At least I think it's like you're holding a mirror up to your face.
Yeah.
And then there's people that hold that opinion are so into like the culture war of it, the culture politics of like, are you on this side or are you on this side of it? You know what I'm saying? And they're on the conservative side, or the MAGA side, whatever you want to fucking call it, the Israel side. That it's like they don't like being called the bad guy. You know what I mean? When they like have these like deeply held beliefs that like they're doing the right thing.
Yeah, but
like they're voting for, you know.
But
if we're drawing a real life comparison, like they're trying to do something right for like maybe for God or for that disenfranchised people or whatever. But it's like they were lied to.
Yeah, yeah, and maybe the movie kind of brings that out. I don't know. It's just that I wouldn't, if I didn't know that people were super mad about the Moravia versus Jopenher thing in this movie, I wouldn't have. I don't know. I wouldn't have really drawn that conclusion if I hadn't already seen outrage about this movie's thing.
I think I'm in the camp of I would have, but not in like a direct like, oh, James Gunn's like really fucking hitting the stamp on it.
Yeah, it doesn't really feel like something's being shoved down my throat,
No, it just feels like it's current events. Like did he write that? Not to be
James Gunn, I believe he wrote it. Yeah.
He's one of the main writer, if not the only writer, or whatever. Like, I mean, you write what's going on. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't, Superman's in a modern world. What is currently going on in our world? To my knowledge, there's probably more. Who fucking knows? 2 wars going on right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Of like 2 clear bad guys and aggressors. So it just seems to me, hold on, I misspoke right there. There's 2 wars going on, and it seems to me like when this guy's writing this thing, like what would Superman do in a situation like that, Jesse? You know what I mean? What would he do? Where would he go? Anyways, I was watching it. I got a little bit of like it made. Sorry, I'm sort of spinning my wheels here. It made me think of like the conflict going on in Ukraine, the war in Ukraine, like what Russia's done, what Russia did previously to other, like Georgia and things like that, or what the Israeli Palestinian conflict. There's a line in the movie where the main guy Moravia is like, we're going to make the streets flow with blood of every single last Draconian or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it doesn't feel on the nose to me. I'm just like, it just sounds like a heightened reality of like the world that we currently live in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Sorry, it took me a long time to get that out of my mouth. But I don't get what the bad part about it is. The movie. He's an alien. He stopped the war. Like, why are they so mad? I mean, and it's like, you asked that earlier. It's the holding a mirror up to yourself. You don't like being. You don't want to like to think about yourself in a negative light, right?
I don't know. People get mad about stupid shit.
I mean, that's true.
Like, yeah. I don't know. Speaking of like Moravian stuff, I like that they introduced this new character of sorts. The Hammer of Moravia is that metal thing he's fighting in the beginning, and it's actually Ultraman inside of it. And this version of Ultraman is very different than what we get in the comics too, but I don't want to go into that. But I like, I like the inclusion of that. James Gunn is good at like really respecting source material and then adding his own little things on it.
You did mention something about some source material earlier. We can tap into that.
We're talking about All-Star Superman.
That's what you're mentioning.
This has a lot of stuff pulled from that, I'd say. Also, I guess we start wrapping this up anyway.
Yeah.
But narratively, this movie was supposed to have title screens that are like day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4. And the movie was like a week-long thing. And they cut that stuff like a month ago before it came out. And that's how All-Star Superman, the comic, is structured. Okay. And I really, when I found that out, I'm like, okay, they really are pulling some stuff from All-Star Superman. Like like All-Star Superman makes, it's early 2000s, I believe. And it makes use of all the stuff that they had kind of cut from Superman in the 90s to make him more of a serious character with stakes. Like they'd stop doing stuff with Crypto. They'd stop doing stuff with the Fortress of Solitude. They kind of bring that back in All-Star Superman and make it like a modern version of all those things. And so that's why I said this movie is very inspired by like the modernization of all these old Golden Age comic book inclusions.
That was something I was going to ask you earlier when we first started talking about this. Like, it seems like it's like an older Superman, not like in age, but I'm saying like a closer to like how he originally was, where he's like, I'm Superman, and he's like picking shit up, and he's like, I'm here to save the day or whatever, if that makes sense. Where it's like, it's not, because obviously he's moving away from that really dark, brooding Zack Snyder shit. So it's just like, it seems like it's just old classic. Dun, dun, dun,
but in a
type
good
shit.
modern
Oh yeah,
way.
no, I'm not saying like in a
cheesy.
cheesy or campy way. It's
but I
just
mean, like that's like the line.
heart of Superman is like to help people.
Yeah,
and that's what it felt like it went back to.
Yeah,
he's not
walks
like,
the
in
line
pain
of that without being cheesy. Yeah,
and fucking covered in trauma and all this other stuff.
That's
It's like,
Batman. There's no reason to make Superman like Batman.
Yeah,
that's why the characters are. That's why their dynamic is cool because you got dark.
Dude,
and
it's
light,
it's like Superman like shed this coat of like sadness and depression in this movie, and it's just like all sunshine.
Yeah,
and not that it's all sunshine and rainbows, but it's just
he stays positive.
Yeah, he stays hopeful.
I think we should end it there.
Yeah, man, that was fun. I'm glad we went and saw it.
Good movie.
Yeah, dude, it was a fun time.